Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another day of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about Halo Infinite. Now, we do the topics, standalone topics, 4 days a week, right here on 30NSG, starting at 10 a.m. So if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button. And it's a great way to help this video and the channel in general. All right. I'll give you the story up front, and so you can just get the info, and then if you want, you can stay for the conversation we discuss with the live chat. So let's get started. All right, so after the layoffs just last week, fans eagerly anticipate more Halo Infinite updates, and one insider predicts that the game development roadmap will stay the same. Now, Halo Infinite developers at Microsoft is said to continue at 343 Industries in the wake of the company's layoffs. Given that 343 Industries has one of the most several impact sectors within the tech behemoth, the statement left many fans wondering what the future of Halo Infinite would entail. Now, the future of the franchise now seems to be coming into focus. Now, Microsoft revealed earlier this week that it was cutting 10,000 employees across a number of industries, including Xbox 343, Bethesda, and a few other studios. Now, in an effort to reduce the cost to prepare for the upcoming year. This is to follow actually their highest quarter ever, by the way. Following the announcement, it's made known that the campaign team at 343 will reorganize, that Joseph Staten, the director of Halo Infinite, will also be departing the company, in which we know he went to the publishing section that we discussed last week. Now, Staten joined 343 back in 2020, particularly to lead the Halo Infinite, but the company may not fare well with him leaving after just 2 years. Now, one well-known insider, however, claims that this might not hold true for Halo franchise as a whole, despite the news of the layoffs in 2023 roadmap for Halo Infinite would apparently remain unchanged, according to a well-known source, Bathrobe Spartan on Twitter. Now, the majority of 343's creative narrative content team's departures, according to Spartan's extensive Twitter thread, are the results of the studio's divergent perspectives. Now, according to the insider, this reference to 343 prioritizing live service components above the difficulties in creating a solo content, long-term monetization strategies for the company. Now, Spartan, also known that several Infinite projects that 343 is currently working on with other studios, will continue, including Forge with Skybox Labs, Maps with the content for Sparasoft, and also a well-known modes, an aspect of co-development with Certain Infinity. Now, since 343 has yet to make it clear or what clear plans they have following the layoffs, it's currently unknown how the studio will tackle a narrative solo content in Halo's future. Now, on the other hand, given the present strategy suggests that potential concentration on the game's multiplayer components, this may indicate that the long-rumored Halo Infinite Battle Royale mode will actually be implemented. Now, we all know what Battle Royale means for games. It's very little changes for the biggest profit. It also would make it be a shame to see the eyes of Halo just becomes another BR game in a sea of BRs, and it kind of loses its identity. Now, according to Bathrobe Spartan, 343's plans for the series would mostly center on the coordinating of the sequel of Halo Infinite and maybe the franchising of the Halo license to other studios. Now, if any of these rumors come to pass, only time will tell, but it's unclear how things will turn up after 2023. And a lot will depend on Microsoft's own long-term plans for the future of its games with 343. Although some fans find it objectively absurd, I should say, given that Microsoft has attended to $68.7 billion to attain Activision Blizzard, while focusing not on their own home field advantage, their studios that they have, they can literally, that they had for decades, franchises for decades, is kind of, we're all lost about this, right? You're spending $70 billion on companies over here, but yet you're kind of letting your other companies just kind of dwindle down. Now, I talked about this the other day. The franchise, they put Xbox in the map, and now it's just another game, right? 20 years ago, Master Chief and Halo put Xbox on the map, and now it's just another game in a sea of games. Okay, so we now know that they said, Halo will not make or break the franchise. Halo Infinite will not make or break a franchise. As part of the recent cutbacks at Microsoft 343 Industries is apparently being withdrawn from the active development of Halo franchise. Now, despite the initial popularity of Halo Infinite, it has not received a sustained support from Halo aficionados and the Xbox Game Studio that hoped for. Now, an update to Halo Infinite haven't provided a compelling reason to give it another go. a live service assistant launch felt well weak of aggressively marketed, and perhaps 343 Industries won't have another chance from this point forward. It would be a stretch to conclude that 343 Industries has failed, but living up to the standards set by Bungie and the Halo franchise itself has been a challenge for 343 Studios and Microsoft since the very start. Now, after Microsoft announced that Halo developer Bungie would be leaving the company years ago, 343 Industries was established, and Halo 4 was the first main series new releases from 343 in 2012. In 2015, they had Halo 5 Guardians, and in 2021, they had Halo Infinite. And all of these games received criticism of a failing to capture Bungie's superior work. And I've said this the other day, I've said this on my stream, I've said this on many streams. I said the best work that 343 has done is still less superior than the worst thing that Bungie has done with the Halo series. Okay. Now, however, it does seem that it's just good enough, right? Not insufficient when it comes to Halo. Now, according to Bathrobe Spartan, 343 Industries is losing about 1/3 of their workforce as a result of the layoffs, failing to extend external contracts and moving developers into Microsoft Division. The studio's financial requirements come first, and the internal development efforts to extend Halo's story are being scaled back. Future plans for Halo franchise are less certain. The Halo series will now theoretically be able to explore whatever small-scale projects or various genres in the future. It might not only be a shooter franchise anymore. However, it also depends on the capabilities and the interests of the partners who are interested in Halo. Now, maybe they go the way of like what Minecraft is doing, right? And what I mean by that is like they take the name and make it into different genres of games. Like Minecraft Dungeons is Minecraft. It sits in the world of Minecraft, but it's a completely different genre, right? Minecraft's an open world survival type game, very creative. Minecraft Dungeons is a very strict dungeon crawler type of game, right? Or sort of like what they did for Halo Wars, right? Maybe we see like a 4-player co-op game. Maybe we see some sort of from the Covenant perspective type of thing. Everything right now is up in the air. It's a sad situation for 343. Sad situation for Microsoft, right? For the industry's team. The studio's single-player Halo efforts appear to be over as a result of this decision. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you think 343 should lose the Halo franchise? Do you think they should change the foundation of what Halo is? Do you think they go into a completely different direction for Halo's future of Halo games? Or do you even want them to save the franchise and continue making it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you're watching this after the fact, or if you're here live right now, I thank you very much. Okay, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you didn't like the video, I thank you for watching as long as you did. And I'll see you guys on the next video. What's going on, chat? How's everyone doing? What's going on, Stealth? What's going on, Jesse? That's pretty good. It's only 8 minutes. 8 minutes long type of thing. But what does 343 do? Right? What does 343 do? I'm gonna bring this up, and we're gonna show this in the background as we talk. Like, what happens to 343? What happens to the Halo franchise? What would you guys like to see when it comes to the Halo franchise? Do we see them branch off into the Halo? Do we see keeping them 343? Do they do the bare minimum for Halo Infinite? Do they just make the BR? There's so many ways they could go with this, but which way are they going to go with this? And that's the question, right? That's the question. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We were busy this weekend. I went to go visit some of my family members this weekend. What's going on, J-Dog? Right? I haven't played Halo Infinite. When they showed us this trailer and they showed us this gameplay that we saw years ago, I was like, this looks kind of weird. It looks kind of plasticky. When the game came out closer and they started showing us what Halo was, I said to you guys, right? And some of you that are so blinded, and I've been blinded by games before, right? I have a video coming out later today about Marvel's Avengers, okay? Dead game, okay? When you love something so much, you're blinded by your love, right? If that's a video game, that's a movie, if that's a relationship, right? You don't want people to tell you that you're wrong in any way, shape, or form because you love that thing that you love, okay? You have a dog that goes around and bites everyone, but you love that dog. You don't want to be told that your dog's a bad dog. You want to be told that your game is a bad game, right? And I said to everyone, I said, Halo doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Now, someone will come in someone will come in and they'll be like, well, I had fun with it. And that's not the point. I can have fun with a turd, okay? I can flip it up in the air and play with it or whatever, okay? But that's not what the issue was. This game as a whole, they ripped out from what Halo was, and they made it into an open world game, but yet didn't do an open world justice for it. They did a half-assed job of what Halo Infinite was, okay? Now, in the very beginning, I wanted to play this game, but it wasn't a co-op game, as every other game was ahead of it, right? They ripped the core out of what the game was, the popularity was, and I know times have changed where it wasn't a couch co-op anymore, and people don't have where they sit together and play a game on the same screen anymore. But Halo, they changed the identity of what it was, and the multiplayer, they changed the identity of what that game was, because back in the day, Red vs. Blue was just an amazing, just a good old time. But now it turned into microtransaction haven, right? Putting things behind paywalls, putting things behind battle passes, putting things behind, and overall, they just lose the identity of what it is, right? What's going on today? What's going on, Game of Fire? I only care about the story at this point. They've killed the multiplayer. Hopefully, the BR is polished and really well done. But here's the conversation, right? If Halo turns into a battle royale, I think it's different that Fortnite, that they worked on for 7 years and didn't even, like, put a foot in the ground yet to see what they was, and Epic turned it in from a tower defense type game into a battle royale, and then that's where it found its footing, okay? Halo has been around for 21 years, right? It's been around for 21 years, and we knew what it was. It was a story-fledged game, single-player, co-op, very rich story. We loved it. We loved the story of Master Chief, and now they turn it into a battle royale, right? If that's the case, right? They're going to come out and turn it into a battle royale. Why even make it? Why even make a Halo game at this point, right? It's just taking the name and then doing something completely different with it, but a shill of what it was, or a shell, I should say, of what it was, right? From the very start. Here we are 20 years later, and Halo itself is just a name. When you say Zelda, when you say Mario, when you say God of War, you look at these games and go, "Oh man!" Even the old God of War games, you know what the staple of what it is, and Halo is just not that anymore. It's not. Jesse Mack says if 343 really takes a Halo franchise in the future, they're taking lots of risks. Only if they would takes it into the future. But here's the conversation. Do you think 343? I've said publicly, I don't think 343 should have the license. They had it for 10 years. They did it for 4. They did it for Halo 5, and now they did it for Halo Infinite. And each time they've missed what it was. Right? Look, some people are just not meant to do certain things. Right? I feel that way about myself with streaming. Okay. I do streaming. I see other people that do much worse content than myself, and they succeed. And I think I do a pretty good job with content, but I don't succeed, right? Some people are just not meant to do certain things, but we still do it. Okay? 343 is me in this situation, right? They're just not good at this game. Maybe Microsoft should make 343 go, hey, 343, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What type of game would you like to make? Instead of chasing the coattails of a company who's not made one hit, but have made, like, not even a hit. I mean, world domination, basically, with Halo, what Bungie did. Okay? And they did it again with Destiny. Okay? What's going on, Chief? Right? What type of game would 343 like to make? And I feel bad for I understand they were made for it. But now you have all these other companies working on it, right? Certain Affinity's working on it. They have a Battle Royale potentially maybe coming out for the thing. People are thinking they're changing the engine, the game engine for Halo. And I don't know if all of this or any of this really changes the state of what Halo has become. And it's sad. It's a sad thing, right? I mean, I asked a question to you guys, right? I asked a question. Do you think 343 should lose the Halo franchise? Do you think they should change the foundation of what Halo is? Is that going to be the saving grace, that they take Halo and make Halo racing, right? And you're running around got Hogwarts. I have Hogwarts on my brain for Harry Potter, but you have the Warhog, all right, driving around, and you're doing a game like Rocket League. Are you playing a game like Forza Horizon on the Halo universe? Are you playing a real-time strategy game like Halo Wars? Are you doing a completely separate 4-player co-op dungeon crawler in the Halo universe? Like, what do they do with the franchise? What do they do going forward with this franchise? Or do they stick with it? Do they stick with the single-player campaign story type of stuff to try to make it, What do they do? J-Dog says, the ambience has changed a lot since the original. My favorite experience in any game have ever played is The Flood. The music during the portion of the legendary, man, good times. Right. And like you think of Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo ODST. All of them had these like moments, and they all have this identity of what Halo was. And you were psyched about Halo when it came out. Then they came out with Halo 4, and you're like, it's not as good as Bungie. And then they came out with Halo 5, and you're like, there's no co-op multiplayer in the beginning. They brought it in afterwards. And then we hear that Halo Infinite, and I was right about it. I was right from the start. Halo Infinite was supposed to be this open world, and I think they had more multiplayer involved with it, whereas, like Destiny. And then they scrapped it because they just couldn't do it. They were asking for something. Think about this, right? Not only did they ask 343 to save Halo and make what Bungie did, but then they asked 343 to duplicate what Bungie's doing with Destiny and make Halo Infinite. They've always been chasing Bungie in my eyes the entire time. Microsoft wanted a Bungie, but they couldn't get a Bungie, and they were trying to force feed a company to become like Bungie, but never doing it at the full effort and passion that Bungie's ever put in any of their games, right? Say what you want about Bungie, but they put their effort and their blood, sweat, and tears into Master Chief and Halo. Their blood, sweat, and tears into Destiny. Hence why it's very, very popular up to this day. Jesse Mack says, it's time to let 343 go over what they have done to the Halo franchise, or Microsoft or Xbox will somehow, or somebody else to work on in the next nice and good Halo game. Chief says, like you said, Halo was basically the foundation of a launch of a franchise. Changing the roots of that started it all wouldn't be a smart move. Right. I'm okay, Chief, if they did Halo Wars, right? And Halo Wars technically was what the game was originally, right? Halo Wars was what Halo was before Halo became a first-person shooter, single-player story. It was a real-time strategy game, right? It was like a Starfield. It was like a Warcraft. That's what Halo Wars was. And then Microsoft picked them up and then turned it into what we see a Halo franchise turned into. So I'm okay if they take the brand of Halo and break it off into other things, but at the same time, they still need to keep the single-player aspect alive, in my opinion. Okay? Here's a perfect example of, right? Halo 4, 5, and Infinity are 7, 8, and 9 in Star Wars. They're just the name, but nothing about Halo itself. Right? They just don't fit. And I haven't played the story of Infinite, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the actual core of what the game is. It just doesn't fit. Authentic says, Halo Reach had that ship fight that got me so excited for Destiny because I thought that we're going to implement. Right. The marketing of 343 was better. Games, not so much. The Bungie games didn't need as much marketing after the original, in my opinion. Well, I don't know if you remember, Jay, but are you saying that the marketing wasn't as good as saying, like, there was no marketing? Or are you saying that, like, the marketing, there was no marketing of it. You see what I'm saying? Are you saying that the marketing was bad, or are you saying they didn't do marketing? Because when first Halo came out, Halo Master Chief was everywhere. It was everywhere. I was about to fight you, and Infinite is like nothing like Episode 9. No. I'm not comparing it that way. Yeah, I'm not comparing it that way. I'm saying for the identity of what it was, just a name. They're taking the name and like, you know what people like? You know what people like? They like Star Wars. So let's make a Star Wars. Let's make more Star Wars, but make it nothing like Star Wars, right? They're like, let's make Halo. Let's use the Halo name, right? They're doing this with shows. They do this with movies. They do it with video games, right? They're taking something that's so popular and then not making anything like what you liked before. You telling me you don't remember Halo 3's epic finish the fight? Oh, no, I remember that. Are you talking to me? I'm saying the marketing for Halo back in the day, Bungie marketed, Microsoft marketed. I always feel like the last 4, 5, and Infinity were just kind of like, yeah, that we have Halo. Halo's coming back out. Hey, you guys want to buy a system? We got another Halo game, and it was just kind of like the bare minimum. No, the way the marketing was done, finish the fight, the little minuses with the Master Chief being held by the Brute. I got you. Okay, I understand. Like, I remember everyone's freaking out. Oh, they got a grapple hook. We got a grapple hook. Oh, my God, a grapple hook? Amazing. What a change. What a change. We're gonna have this game. I have a conversation. I have a premiere coming out at 12:15 today. Okay, I might move it up, all depending on how long this stream lasts for, about Marvel's Avengers, right? And how they kind of just screwed that. They made that game because of microtransactions. And they looked at this game and said, well, how can we monetize Master Chief more? Right? Master Chief wasn't no longer about a great franchise selling consoles. It was a let's rush it out. Let's get it mediocre, right? People like it because you're in love with something now. You don't see the flaws. Okay? You liked Halo 1 and 2 and 3 and ODST. So of course you liked 4. Of course you liked 5. You were okay with Halo Infinite. You were okay with all of this because you love the franchise. Right? But you don't see the flaws. Someone's like, yeah, this game's not good. You're like, so good. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about taking the brand of Halo and just completely changing it for the cause of the microtransactions, of selling you armor, the bits and pieces to keep you coming back week after week, season after season, and they did a half-assed job, and it was broke from the start. It was broke before it came out. It was broke well after. Here we are a year and a half after almost, okay? And it's still not in good shape. Finish the fight was 3 because that was the last thing he said in Halo 2 when dropping the bomb. Marketing back in the day was 10 out of 10. Infinite has, hey, you're releasing a new console. Want to play Master Chief? Yeah. What's going on, Sarge? People freaking out because of the dash move, but they were like, right, a change of the way of PvP was played. They messed up with the formula, right? They lost the identity of what it was. I didn't like 4 or 5. They're both trash. All 343 Halo games have been. Well, Dave, that's what I've said. But what I'm saying is, lots of people, right? So you were one of the few people like myself. You saw what Bungie was and what 343 was, and you're like, these are just not good. But a lot of people are blinded, right? They're blinded because they might be a super fanboy of Halo. They might be a super fanboy of Master Chief. They might be a super fanboy of Xbox in just general, right? And no matter what they come out with, they're going to be like, well, I had fun. Great game, great story. But if you compare the stories to other stories, if you compare the game to the other games, right? Obviously, two different studios. But you look at the attention to detail that Bungie did with the Halo games. You look at the attention to detail what 343 did to the attention to detail. And again, I'll say it again, and I'll say it 1,000 times. The best 343 game is still the worst Bungie Halo game. Okay? Right? So you look at it, and you're going to pull stuff from it. But the masses speak volumes. They're like, no, these games are bad. This game is bad. This game is bad. Halo Infinite came out, broke, buggy mess. Doesn't have features. They rushed it out the door. Why? Because it was supposed to be launched when the system launched. And then it was supposed to be launched 1 year after. And they launched it, but it was broke. Broke and unfinished. But it doesn't matter. See, this doesn't matter because we go back to this conversation because it's on Game Pass. They're selling you Game Pass. They're not selling you Master Chief anymore. They're not selling you Halo anymore. They're selling you a game that you know that's on a service that you don't know that has a good value because you're paying only 10 or 15 bucks a month for subpar games. Okay? Now, obviously, there's third-party games out there and independent developer games that are not making subpar games, but they have to try to compete and they put themselves on the Game Pass. But their first-party titles, they're just trying to get them out the door right now. They're trying to make some value here, right? They had nothing come out last year. Okay, nothing come out last year. I do like the story of Halo Infinite. Humanizing Master Chief feels real, like with Kratos not being a monster. He was a previous one. Here's another example, though, El Dente, right? The Halo TV show. Right? The Halo TV show. Which, again, I know, it's not based on the video game. Which is a fundamental problem itself, right? A fundamental problem itself. Proving the point that Halo is not what Halo was. Halo is just the name. Master Chief is just the name to sell you said things. Don't put a lot of effort into it. Just get it out there and sell. When they said that Halo Infinite will not make or break the franchise, that tells me that no matter what we do, there are hardcore, diehard fans out there, and they will always love whatever Halo's put out, regardless if it's subpar Halo or not, right? I didn't get bugs, but I did speedrun the game and beat it in Legendary in like 4 hours. So you waited 6 years to get a game to beat in 4 hours, you know? That was the majority of the platforms are going. We don't talk about the Halo TV show. Oh, we do. What show? Sarge's like, what show? Don't know what you're talking about. Right? We looked at this and we're like, well, when we first saw this, we're like, something looks weird about this. Something looks weird about this. Right? This is almost the same type of situation that Sonic the Hedgehog was in when they showed the first trailer for Sonic. We're like, oh God, what is that? That's not Sonic. And they're like, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean it's not Sonic? Oh, you want Sonic to look like Sonic? Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Let's go back to the drawing board. We'll be back. And then it went on to make a crap ton of money because they stayed true to what Sonic is. Okay. No, the first playthrough, I know, you just ran through it. Is a joke when you beat it in 4 hours and it took 6 years to make. Yeah, it takes what, like 15 hours? Is it like 15 hours to beat Halo Infinite? It would have taken longer, and they would have added story to it, but you know they didn't have time. Just like Marvel's Avengers, we were gonna add all this stuff, but we decided because we made a lot of money up front and that we paid for, and people paid for a lot of the cosmetic skins, that we don't really need to make actual content for the game anymore. Oh, okay. So Halo Infinite is about 11 hours in length. So I was right. I was like 12 to 15. And the gamer that strives to see the aspect of the game likely about 26 hours if you tan 100%. The problem with Halo was the open world. It was fun, but Halo has always been linear. But was the problem because it was open world, or was the problem it was open world and they were launched it and they weren't ready to launch it because of the open world? They cut half the content, right? Right? They cut half the content and they made it open world. And they're like, oh, well, let's just make it an open world game. And these people like Assassin's Creed, they like Destiny, we'll just add to it later. That's it. They're like, let's just get out what we can get. All right, well, the story was supposed to be, let's say, and again, I'm just speculating. Let's say the story was supposed to be 3 times larger. Let's say it was supposed to be 30 hours. Okay? And they're like, well, we don't have time to make that. We have to cut the content. What about if we take 2/3 of that content and slowly put it in the game over the next 3 to 5 years? And we'll just get the base game out. And then we'll have season passes. And then we'll have multiplayer stuff. Don't worry about the open world stuff. Let's just get it out there. We're already a year behind when the console came out. We got to get out the door. So let's just get it out the door and we'll worry about it later. Companies seem to forget that their very good story is better than an empty open world. Enter Skull and Bones. Took me 11 hours to beat it. I don't even own an Xbox, and I played it at a friend's house. The game was easy. Right? Fix it in post. Right? Just put it out. Just put it out there, and we'll fix it later. Right? In the past, 2 to 4 years was to make a game. Now it's 3 to 5 because they're bigger games. They put it out at 2, and then they fix it 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Again, example, Marvel's Avengers. Delayed, pushed back, launched, broke, chasing problems, never fix it, and it's done. Right? They just stretch it out. They just like, and I have a video of that, and we'll talk about it's a long one. It's about 20 minutes long. It'll be a premiere around 12:15 today. The skins money dropped off enough, and then where they stopped making anything for Avengers. No surprise, business as usual. We don't need DLC. That would cost money, right? and the way the market is now, Sarge, we've been conditioned to take, what's the word I'm looking for? We've been conditioned to be okay with less and subpar stuff for high valued money. Right? Someone right now is arguing that and again, I'm just taking an example because I know Hogwarts Legacy doesn't have microtransactions, right? But it's a $70 game, and some people would look at that and go, $70 for that game? That's outrageous. And then other people look at it and go, it's just $70. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Then it's the same thing that goes to, well, someone that was complaining for $70 video game is okay spending $14 on one skin. Right? And I never understand that. I've never understand that. Complainants. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, right? We've been conditioned and we're just okay with it. We're okay with it. Right? It all started with Horse Armor. It all started with a game that took out less content, sold it as DLC. We've been conditioned over the years, and now, right, there was a story. We've been conditioned on on mobile phones. There was a story about Vampire Survivor that the dev went out to try to get, investors and stuff, and nobody would give them the time of day because it didn't have predatory microtransactions in the game. So no one wanted to do it. It didn't have predatory stuff in it, so they said, yeah, we don't want your game. It has to have predatory, right? We've been conditioned to understand and know that, oh, it's a mobile game. It's going to have microtransactions, predatory microtransactions, where you can make $500,000 and stuff, right? Right? Now we've been conditioned with our AAA games that, well, yeah, Halo is a great franchise, but we're giving you this other service over here. We're giving you Game Pass. We're giving you 100 games, and it's constantly changing across the board. We're giving you constant games. First party, third party, independent games, right? You can't expect them all to be great. We're giving you a great value. Combined. You can't think that you want to a great value of a video game that you love. We're just using this to bring you in, right? Next game up, right? Next game up, Fable. Okay, not Starfield, because Starfield's a brand new brand, IP. Fable. Fable's the brand that people know. Fable's the game that people want to play. Fable is going to fall the same way, okay? Going to fall the same way as Halo Infinite and any other game franchise that they're trying to use the name to sell you on. Sarge says, I'm not conditioned. F that. I haven't bought any of this pretty overhyped BS. I am not okay with it. Science is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good or bad. Psychological behind a lot of this stuff should make a lot of people ashamed. Yeah. Yep. What it is, though. Right? Remember when Destiny said they brought in a what was that? They did a test, psychological test on why people were playing the game. And look at people. They're addicted. And I'm a gamer my whole life, right? I'm addicted to games. But to be addicted to a game like a drug, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. Brand recognition is powerful, right? When they come out with Transformers, look at me. Transformers Reactivate's coming out. I'm a huge Transformers fan. I'm like, oh shit, Transformers? I love Transformers, right? I'll also be very critical of Transformers if it comes out and it's bad, right? I'm hoping it's not. Because I really, really, really love Transformers. It's a shame, man. Right? We're all guilty. We're all guilty of that, right? There's a brand that you love. There's a brand that you love. There's a thing out there that you are addicted to, right? Right? And then the developers look at it and say, well, let's capitalize on this. Halo Infinite has been broken in the start menu. Horribly pop-in textures, performance optimization. Yeah. I play a lot of broken games. And you know what the funny part is? The funny part is, if I wasn't a streamer, I wouldn't do it. And it's almost like I'm fighting myself here, right? Because as a streamer, I play a lot of games that I probably wouldn't have played, and I wouldn't spend money on. And most of the time I don't, okay? Because I get codes or whatnot. But even when the game comes out for free, like, this should show you how much integrity I do have, right? Because I do try to do this, right? Halo Infinite is on Game Pass, and I haven't played it. I played the multiplayer, right? I played the multiplayer, but I have not played the single player. It's there. It's free, okay? I've paid the $10 or $11, $15 for just the service, but I haven't played Halo. Why? Because I can't. I can't as a customer give it the time of day. Okay? Because they didn't put the work in. Now, I've paid money up front for Marvel's Avengers, played 1,000 hours of it, enjoyed it because I love Marvel. But the game was broke from the very start. And I was hoping as a gamer, as a Marvel fan, that they would fix it because they would show love and tender care towards a franchise. But no, that was just an IP to make money on. Now, I've never bought any of the cosmetics. And again, that video is coming out later today, and we'll talk about the shady business practices that they're still doing to this day, right now after they announced the game is dead. I love many brands, but I don't throw money at them over above the price of the game just because. Right? Right? There's so many broken, buggy games. Sarge, I haven't played Monster Hunter yet. I know you texted me yesterday and wanted to know if it was janky. You're not the first person to say that. I think Rebel in Discord was talking about how janky it was. Right? Just so many games come out. And they're just They're just not there. And the sad part is, we have better games now than we ever did in the industry when they come out and they're finished. But we also have way more games that come out that are half-baked, undercooked. You know? Name one game that launched flawless, not broken, no bugs, no patches within the first week. Kind of hard to name a few. Well, I think all games have bugs and glitches, right, Chief? But the difference is if they're game breaking. Like, for instance, if somebody has a game that didn't have any flaws with, right? It was perfect for them. But that same game came out for somebody else and it crashed and they couldn't play it. That's a broke game. Regardless if someone had a good time, the fact there was a copy out there delivered and it didn't and it just crashed all the time. Marvel's Avengers, I could not play the campaign. I could not finish the game for 14 days. It broke. Fallout 76, I could not continue on with the game because my guy went invisible and I couldn't interact with anything in the game. That's game breaking. Like, those type of bugs are game breaking. If you're a game like, was God of War broke? I don't know. I didn't play it. I know it had its minor glitches. I know Horizon Forbidden West had a couple of glitches that I knew about, or hair flickering or something, but was there game breaking bugs in those type of games? Spider-Man, I had no issues. I had no issues. I don't remember if there was issues. I don't remember hearing anyone saying that I can't play Spider-Man because it was a game-breaking glitch. It wasn't featured complete. It was just a busy work, yeah. Game launches online versus standalone, very different. Marvel's Avengers was a standalone single-player game that you did not have to collect online with. The only reason you had to go online when the game came out was to do the play with multiplayer stuff, right? I couldn't play or finish the game because there was a game-breaking glitch. I couldn't even get into the last boss fight. Right? Cyberpunk was just broke. Regardless, it was perfect on PC. It was broke when it came out, right? There's so many games that come out that have bugs. But were they broke? I clipped into the building in Spider-Man once, had to restart it, but that was it. Only one I got. But that's not technically a game-breaking glitch, right? That's just a bug, right? That's just a bug. I think one time it happened to me that you brought it up. I think I was fighting somebody, and I shot my webs at him, and then when I flew at him, I like hit something, and I got stuck into something, right? But at the same time, it wasn't a game-breaking glitch because I could just respawn and do it again. My one buddy played Cyberpunk and couldn't finish the game. He was on PC. Really? Interesting. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Helps us out. Helps the video go out to more people. We do appreciate you doing that. It takes literally half a second. It takes me longer to say hit the like button than to actually hit the like button. I was when I was editing my video over the weekend for Marvel's Avengers, I had to go through all my other content for clips to find all the stuff that happened to me. I only put a couple clips in, but we're talking game-breaking glitches across the board, just stupid things. Just stupid things. Right? Outriders had a bug. I forget what the bug was for Outriders. You fall through the map? Something was happening. Gotham Knights has some issues for me. Some spots the frame rate drops to like 0.00001 of my camera goes insane. Oh, that happened to me once, J-Dog. That happened to me once. All of a sudden, I was I was up on top of the building and I went to go jump off, right? And then all of a sudden it like paused and all of a sudden my Xbox went it like super glitched, and I was close to a building and the camera started like doing this and started like going all like haywire. I was like, what is, and then it popped out of it and it was fine. I was like, oh, okay. True. It might not be a game breaking issue, but those little bugs turn into big bugs. Then they start to accept it and then they get used to it, and then it exhausts to me. Oh, 100%, Chief, right? That's what Bethesda is, right? That's what Bethesda is. Bethesda's little bugs here and there, glitches here and there are like fun until they're not fun anymore, right? Literally broken Cyberpunk was broken and set the bar for selling a #1 game completely broken, and then they blame was completely on the consumer. Well, Sarge, not only was it Cyberpunk, but Cyberpunk, okay, came after Grand Theft Auto, and it was broken, buggy, sold millions of copies, set the bar for the most pre-sales, second most pre-sales before the game launched, right? Also made another additional 5 million after the game launched in the first week. And then we had Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, is that what it was called? Sold 10 million units in the first 3 days, and that thing is a mess. That's an absolute mess. Now, I didn't play it myself, not interested in it, but watching people, I'm like, holy Christ. But nobody cares. Very few people care. That they don't want their money back or anything. They're just like, it is what it is. I wasn't able to play Anthem. My game crashed the first boss cutscene. Oh, God, the game crashes in Anthem were terrible. How about you couldn't even get into the goddamn the safe area, right? It would crash. Hey, guys, Gotham Knights is on sale, 50% off. Already happy. You bought it day one now. Right? That's the issue, right? I said it after. I'm no longer buying games at the end of the year. September, October, November. No. It has to be a game that I'm like super interested in, and we got to see a lot of stuff beforehand before I even touch a game then. I said this in Discord. The thing that makes good or bad games is the executives and the leadership. And need leadership and passion and quality standards priority #1. Bad leaders care about money #1. Absolutely, Krebsy. Absolutely. Del says, "Yep, terrible quality." I'm assuming you're talking about the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, or Violet and Scarlet, whatever it's called. We all loved back in the days when companies' developers were allowed to release a complete product. And now I don't understand why every gaming companies release their products broken, half-ass. Well, I think here's one of the reasons I think it happens, Jesse. I'm okay if a company releases a game. It's an online service game, and they have majority of the fixes ready to go day one. Day one patch happens, boom, a lot of the fixes happen, fantastic, right? And then they're like, you know what? It's a live service game. We're constantly working on it. We'll update it. If they do it in a fast enough time, sure, I'm okay with that, right? Because you're expecting a live service game to always be online. But there's single player games coming out, and you're just like, they're rushed. They're rushed. Remember Crackdown 3? Remember how they advertised how there was going to be fully destructible environment and buildings were coming down with the physics and all this stuff? And the game came out, and the game was just ass. Let alone the fully destructible environment. Oh, you meant the tutorial boss cutscene. Nice. Right? There's so many issues with games because they are rushed, and it goes back to what Krebsy's saying. Executives are like, you got to get it out the door. Well, we're still 6 months out. Nope, we're gonna put it out the door. That's what it is. Push out the push out the cosmetics. Push out the collector's edition. Tell people what it has. Don't show that part right now. Forspoken, okay. Forspoken is not being given to certain people. Red flags galore, right? Forspoken is not being given out to all media outlets. It's only given out to a certain few. Well, what that tells me is it's the certain few that are playing ball to give us good rep. So when the game comes out, okay, and that's only going to be on PlayStation and PC, but that's red flags, man. If you can't review a game and they're hiding it from you, there's something fishy about it. Go on, Ford. Dog says, "Oh God, Anthem." They released them broke because there's no penalty, no BBB involved, no refund procedures. It just falls under the buyer beware law. Good. Forspoken was terrible. Yeah. I haven't seen it. Just following the news as everyone else. And I'm like, why aren't they giving codes out? Why aren't they letting people review it? What's the issue? Right? Gotta hide it. Man. Here I am again, right? I'm letting my guard down. And I'm not even a Harry Potter fan, right? I'm not a diehard Harry Potter fan. I appreciate the movies because I was in the film industry. I love the way they were. But I'm kind of letting my guard down, right? I purchased the game up front, $70, right? Or $80, right? To get the 3-day early access because I'm a content creator, right? And in my head, I'm like, there'll be something wrong with the game. Because I've been burned so many times before. Even if the game doesn't have it, I'm waiting for something to happen. And when something does happen, I'll be like, there it is. There it is, right? Hopefully, it's just little bugs and glitches and not game-breaking bugs. But here we are, starting 2023 off, and hopefully we don't have that problem with Hogwarts Legacy. But if we did, just another day in gaming. And if we don't, then it's the outlier of the industry, you know? I just heard another video that people like Skill Up were told they wouldn't get codes until launch day for Forspoken. Right? Why? 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 The only thing I can think of is because the game's not that good. They're going to rip it to shreds, people that are not the insiders, that are just other people that are third party, not underneath the umbrella of these companies. Okay? And I feel like that's to stop sales. They don't want to put it out to third-party people because that'll stop sales. If they put it out to IGN and all the other people that give them good reviews, then it would be fine. Has IGN reviewed it yet? I don't even know. They gave it a 6. That's not good. I mean, that's a Gotham Knights, right? Didn't they give Gotham Knights a 6? Or is that a 5? They gave it a 5. It's not good. It's not good. Something's up. I have heard that Forspoken is bad about their reviews. Are you not proud of your work? Shouldn't it release a game but be proud a moment? If you're limiting access to the review, then you're trying to blind sales. Not a good sign, right? Yeah, they got a 6. 6. Bland game, bland story, good graphics. A 6 is okay game. 5 is halfway. Gotham Knights got a 5 from IGN. Call of Duty got a 6 from IGN. Oh, well, you know what? Who gave the review? Tom Marks gave the review for Forspoken. What did Halo get? A 9. Now I'm gonna ask you guys, chat. Would you give Halo Infinite, I guess just story, just the story. I didn't play it, so I'm asking you guys. Would you give it a 9 out of 10? Is it a 9 out of 10 game? Now, mind you, 9 out of 10. What was Halo? Oh, hold on. Halo 1. Halo 1 got a 7 out of 10. Halo 2 got a 9.8 out of 10. Halo 3 got a 9.5 out of 10. Halo 4 got a 9.8 out of 10. Halo 5 got a 9 out of 10. So you're telling me, from the same people that tell you that 343 is not as good as Bungie, but yet IGN gave 343's scores for 4, 5, and Infinite are higher than 1, 2, and 3. Excuse me. So bring this back to Halo. All 343 isn't to blame for the state of Halo. It's the mistakes, neglects, and the bad politics of the leadership of Microsoft that caused the downfall. Well, yeah, I mean, I've said it from the start. They were handed a game that they had no passion about, right? They were handed a game just to sell the IP. That was it. But we are here, right? If a kid is bad, right? If my kid is a bad kid, okay, you can say the same thing. Well, he's not a bad kid. His parents is what made him a bad kid. The upper management, right? The upper management of the parents made him a bad kid. But at the same time, they can change things. But they don't. They're compliant. They just do what they do. They don't try to push back. They just do the bare minimum to get by. So I don't want to say 343 is just innocent in this whole thing. Okay? They could easily have pushed back management of 343, playing ball with the heads of Microsoft, saying, hey, look, you know what? We want to try something different. We want to try something new. We want to try to do something. We want to try to do that. But they don't. They're just like, we'll just do that. Bet your ass that guy gave it a 5. Won't be working there very long. To me, Infinite only in story is a solid 8. Can't even just the story. You can't review just the story. Well, you can. Sure, you can. You can just review the stories of each one and grade those. Absolutely. Reviews seem to be follow the hype train. Now, Halo 4 gets a 6 out of 10. Sounds like those are paid reviews. Yeah, we're not even talking about the multiplayer at this point. We're just talking about the identity and what Halo is. The Copium tank must be full blast today. You can't just look at the score. You need to see if it was the same people who reviewed it. Well, I doubt the guy who reviewed it in 20 years ago is the same person reviewing. I would hope he got a promotion sometime. I would hope. Here, let me see. Halo 1 review. No, all different reviewers. All different reviewers. Every single one. When you become a puppet and string, you're always caught with your hands up the pants down. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to say, and it's funny because I've played 1, 2, 3 ODST, 4, and 5, and obviously scores are opinion based. Okay, and the masses can look at it and go, 4 and 5 are good games, but they're not as good as any of the things that Bungie did before. Trying to look here to see if there's another. Yeah, man, it's just a shame. I hope the people at 343. I don't want to say get another shot at Halo because I don't think they should. I don't think they should. That's the peons that work at 343 all the way up to upper management. But I also don't think they should lose their job. I think they should all get moved to a project, a brand new project. Something that 343 is like, you know what? This is a passion project of ours, and we want to make said game. But I don't think 343 is in that case. I think Microsoft's above them going, all right, you're off Halo, and now you're going to make such and such game. Right? And I don't know if that's healthy for the studio. I think 343 should be able to go, you know what? We appreciate your work on this. Why don't you guys take the studio, take a couple weeks, and come up with an idea. A real passion project that you guys want to work on. Thanks for working on Halo these years. Let me see what you guys can do with an original IP. Let's see what you can do with an original IP and put it out there. And then just give Halo Infinite to somebody else, a support studio. Because again, Halo Infinite's not going to make or break the franchise, so they can do what they want, right? They can just kind of experiment what they want. I truly believe that they're going to hold on to Halo Infinite. I don't think they're going to scrap it. I think they have plans for this, and they're just going to kind of do a kind of 180 type of thing. And I believe that when they do that 180, it still doesn't matter what they do because it's still not the identity of what Halo itself is. Right? They completely changed what Halo fundamentally is. Right? And I don't think they're gonna change it back. The Bungie developer games were better, hands down. Were they perfect? No, but they still best by far. Oh, sure. Well, let's compare Bungie Halo to Bungie Destiny 1. Right? You look at what they learned from Halo to what they learned from Bungie Destiny 1. Halo 1 was a phenomenal game. Like your mind was blown. I was 22 at the time when it came out. I was like, this is cool. Okay, this is cool. Right? And Destiny 1 came out, and I was like, this is cool. And then they fundamentally changed it. They fundamentally changed what it was. But the passion that went into Halo 1, 2, and 3, right, was fantastic. And then what they did for Destiny 1, year 1, year 2, year 3 was fantastic. I think 343 needs to stop doing Halo main story and just branch off into the Halo universe and new things. So you think they should still work on Halo-esque type of game? Like if they take I would like to see them make something in the Halo world, in the universe, but just not Master Chief. Just not like tell a different story. Tell a different story or make a different game. Like I said, like Minecraft Dungeons came out. It's based on Minecraft. but it's a completely separate game, but still in the same universe, right? Halo Wars is that same type of game. It's in the same universe, but a different type of genre game. Maybe 343 should do that, like I said in the video. We still have the wonderful season 2 of the Halo show coming. What is this show you're talking about? As Chad said earlier, I can't wait for Hogwarts Legacy reviews in coming days. The early reviews is going to be fun. Hearing the bad reviews, I'll be laughing in my sleep that night. Well, I think reviews in general, and this is me not trying to hedge the bet here, but it's a single player RPG, right? So hopefully the people that review the single player RPG, they don't have to be Harry Potter fans, but they just got to be RPG fans. You know, I hate to have a review of someone that comes out and is like, I don't like this mechanic, blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh boy, you don't play games like this, do you? I think season 2 of Halo is going to be more like Halo because of how they ended the first season. Are you talking about the show? I'm not watching the show. Just like if they came out with a Boba Fett season 2, I ain't watching that either. Or an Obi-Wan season 2. Not watching that either. They can kiss the underside of my carriage. Not doing it. Forspoken on GameRank got a 3 out of 5. Well, let's see. Let me see what Forspoken real fast. Six out of 10. IGN. Metacritic 68%. VG 24/7 3 out of 5. Do we have any more? Forbes 5 out of 10. That's interesting. That's interesting that Paul Tassi got a copy, but SkillUp didn't. Very interesting. All review scores. The loadout. Let's see. Metacritic. You want to know more about the Nightingale game? That's a isn't that that's an MMO, isn't it, Sarge? I'm pretty sure. Nightingale? I'm pretty sure that's a All right, got some scores here. IGN Forspoken review gave it a 6. Inverse Forspoken review gave it a 7. Game Informer gave it a 7.5. VG 24/7 gave it a 6. GameSpot gave it a 5. Dexerto gave it a 4. Is that a 4 out of 5 or is that a 4 out of 10? They gave it a 2 out of 5. What are they talking about? 2 out of 5, not a 4. 2 out of 5. Gaming Nexus gave it a 9.5. Cha-ching! Somebody's underneath the deal. Game Rank gave it a 6. True Gaming gave it a 6.5. God is a Geek gave it a 7.5. And Attack of the Fanboy gave it a 5. Now, is that a 5 out of 5 or is that a 5 out of 10? The verdict. Let's see. Just okay. Yeah, 5 out of 10. So it's not looking very good. Not looking very good for Forspoken. Well, I'm glad it's got a two-year exclusive, and then we'll see it on Game Pass in 2 years, and then I still won't play it. .5 out of 20? No, nope. 9.5 out of 10. On a scale of 1, what person you what person uses a scale of 20? I don't understand why people use 5 as the high, like 1 out of 5. Like, just, I don't get that. I have 2 ideas for the future of Halo and 343. Microsoft buys either Respawn or Sledgehammer independently, combines 343 and the company, and 2, Microsoft buys Splitgate devs to team with 343. But Splitgate, they only make the PvP aspect, right? There's no story. I mean, sure, I guess they could buy them for the multiplayer stuff. But as far as, like, the single-player stuff, plus Respawn is extremely busy right now, right? They have Apex, they have Jedi Survivor, and they're working on a first-person shooter, supposedly multiplayer game for Star Wars. D&Ders. Forspoken is what everybody thought it was just average. Right. Like, isn't that weird, though, right, Dave? Like, isn't that weird? Like, we all, as gamers, play games a lot. And you look at a game, and within split seconds of the game, you're like, yeah, that game looks just subpar. Well, that makes sense. 343 focus on story and single player, and Splitgate makes the PvP. Sure. I'll agree with Splitgate making the PvP. Just as far as but we've been talking about the single player of what Halo has been, right? The structure and stuff of what Halo is. The PvP is different as well, right? They've changed the fundamental of what PvP is as well. They use a 1 out of 5 because they're less wiggle room for true accurate for quality. Oh, sure. Yeah, but if it's a 5, it's a 10. If it's a 3, it's a 6, right? Or 2.5 or whatever. So you could just subtract it, you know what I mean? I just think there's way too many scores nowadays of a perfect 10, right? All these games, they throw out these 9s and 10s. 10s across the board. I'm just like, you sure? That's perfect. Perfect. Meaning, in no way, shape, or form, in any way, you look at that and go, there's nothing wrong with this game. Nothing. Story's flawless. Sound design is flawless. Excuse me. People said the story for Halo Infinite was 7 out of 10. Seems like 343 was some understanding of what they were doing with the campaign. Perhaps. But a seven out of 10. You can give whatever score you want. I'm talking about the fundamental of what the game is. They're changing what the roots are of the game, right? They tried to make Halo and Master Chief into God of War open world without the effort of doing a good story and build the open world type of stuff, right? They did a half-ass job with the game, with the brand. Like, if they were going to change it, then make sure it's done. Not chasing the bad game and then trying to fix it as you go. We saw how that works out. Seven or 8 out of 10. I like the growing up Master Chief was done with 343. Maybe one day I'll play it. Maybe one day I'll play the story because it's the only one I'm missing. The only one I'm missing. Maybe me and Sarge will play it, but I'll just make it a members stream. I'll just upload it for members only. We'll just go through the campaign. I'll upload them. I'll just upload them as a member stream. We can play co-op now, right? You can play co-op through the main story. Sarge, would you do that? Is the campaign only 2-player? I think it is. I think it's only 2-player. You're lucky it's 2 players. It took them a year to get that in the game. You'll have to wait another 2 years to get a 3-player or 4-player. Well, I know more people are liking Forge, right? Well, let's look at the player base right now for Halo Infinite. Right now, Halo Infinite on Steam, all-time peak was 256,000, just shy of 257,000. The peak 24 hours was 6,000 people, and right now playing is 2,169 players. Okay. Now, obviously, that's people playing the multiplayer. We don't know sales. We do know Halo Infinite has sold over 2 million copies worldwide. This is as of October 4th, 2022. The game received generally positive reviews from critics and praised the graphics, multiplayer, and campaign mode. However, the game was also met with some criticism and mainly directed with the story and the characters. Right? How many copies sold so far? Well, total 81 million copies for the whole franchise overall. Halo Infinite was the best-selling game of last month. This was back in January 27th of 2022. Second best game. How many did they sell? They never tell you the numbers. They just like to give you the headline of best-selling game of this month, but they never tell you what the numbers are. Halo Infinite had the biggest launch in series history with over 18 million played Forza Horizon 5 and more than 20 million played Halo Infinite, making it the biggest launch in history. Now, isn't that's a good number right there. So they had 20 million players play Halo Infinite at launch. But the only sales number they showed you was 2 million. Interesting. Isn't there a way to check Game Pass? Nope. You could potentially go into the achievement list and look at to see what achievement, like how many people got to a certain achievement, and then you could kind of put it up to a percentage type of thing. There's just no content, man. We need more content. We need to fix the damn desync. And we are in business. Yeah. They have a lot of issues, but see, what's the motivation? They have people playing, they have people spending money, they have people doing the stuff. It's just another game that's on Game Pass. Right, because you know your favorite thing. That's right, Game Pass. Right? 20 million people played, right? Because it was free. It's only on Xbox and PC. And we know the max, right, was 256,000 or 265,000. Okay, 266,000, whatever it was, on Steam. So that means there was, right, 19 million people out of 25 million people that had Game Pass played Halo in some way, shape, or form. And 2 million of that is people that bought it. Let's just say the 2 million sales were from Xbox. Well, that means you have 18 million people that got it from Game Pass. Why would I buy a game for $60 when I can rent it for $10? Right. Well, this is the whole conversation we had last week about Starfield. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to sell so many. I'm like, no, it's not. No one's going to buy it. You're going to have the exact same numbers. You're going to have like 2, maybe 3 million people buy it. And everything else is going to be people that download it and play it. After further pondering, Microsoft should buy Splitgate devs, Sledgehammer, and Certain Infinity. Certain Infinity makes the Halo BR, helps Splitgate on multiplayer. Put Sledgehammer 343 on the campaign. A lot of goddamn companies on one franchise. You think they would do that? I don't. I mean, right now I know they have 3 working on it. I don't think they do that. I think they do the bare minimum. I like Krebsy's idea, but I don't think they do it. Because right now they have what? They have Certain Infinity, they have a Sparrowhead or Sparrow whatever, and then they have what was the other one they had? What was the other company? Skybox, right? They got Skybox, Sparrowsoft, and Certain Infinity. And then you're going to add 343 on top of that, right? And then you're going to add Sledgehammer on top of that. And then you put Certain Infinity on top of that. So someone's moving, someone's humping. I don't know if you put that many people working on a franchise that's not going to make or break the franchise. Devs are already paid. Yep. Yeah, but not by you. Sure. Yeah. If you're paying for Game Pass, you're putting your money back into the company that's taking that money and paying the devs. 100%. Do you understand that, like, each month Game Pass makes $250 to $300 million, right? That 1 month can pay for a full cycle of a game the size of Grand Theft Auto 5 to work on for 8 years, which is $250 to $300 million. 1 month can take a company and give them enough money to make a game for 5 to 8 years. That's like having that thought because I gave Blockbuster $5 to rent it. It supported the company. Yeah, it does. You could also take the Bird Studio and Skybox and throw them onto another game and support devs. Right. I just don't think they put that much effort into it. I think they just kind of let it go and just they're like, bare minimum and do it. And if the BR comes out, and it's successful, then you don't see a Halo single player for a long time. Right? If they get a BR and the BR is successful in any way, shape, or form, Apex Legends type, Fortnite type, PUBG type, there's no way you'll ever see a Halo single player campaign anymore. It will completely overshadow everything that they've done, and then they won't worry about a single player anymore. They also need to drop the stupid 18-month work stuff. Well, yeah, that's gonna be rough for them. They're the only company that does it. Obviously, there's full-time workers, but then they bring in other workers that only work on the contract stuff. How does a company? How do you get invested in something? You get moved. That's the problem, man. When you don't have a person that's working on something for the entire time, it's got to be rough. So saying that if you don't buy the game, right, or if you buy the game, so now that Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, where do you think that money goes? It goes to Microsoft first, right? They take their cut, and then they pay the rest of it to Bethesda. That's why they paid $7 billion for ZeniMax and Bethesda, right? Paying the guys' salaries, they're getting paid. So if Starfield comes out and let's say it cost them $300 million to make, and they made it over 7 years, that $300 million is across the board for the salaries of all those employees that are making it. So if there's 200 employees working on the game and they all have their salaries, then they have their money. They're getting paid weekly. It's not like the developers are sitting there going, "Oh man, I can't wait to get this game out so I can get paid finally after 7 years." Right? I feel like with the welcoming of unions, finally, as they picks up speed, they'll stop the contractual work as well, or at least I hope. Well, it's only certain things that are being unionized, right? Which is the testers. The testers are like QA testers are like unionizing, but devs and stuff and contract workers. There's contract workers all the time. Like I used to do a contract work for the convention center, right? I was in the film industry, Local 600, right? And that's union. That's for film and television and music videos and stuff like that. But when I did like convention work, there was no union, right? You were hired daily, right? You would get hired for 2 days, 3 days, contractual work, 8 hours, 12 hours, whatnot. So not all the stuff has, unionized. And then unions, if they're doing something, that they're not always great. It all depends on what the scenario is. That's exactly correct. Because of the number involved, either 3 million people actually bought Halo or 20 million people paid to support it with the monthly payment. A dev's salary could be tied into success of the game. The better the game does, the more bonus the devs get. Sure, but that's not salary, that's bonus. Your salary is your salary. Bonus is you don't spend the money of your bonus for Christmas or for what the sales are before you actually get your bonus. Right? Your salary is if you make $100,000 a year, you don't make $120,000 a year. The bonus makes you more money that year, but the following year, you're obviously not making a bonus because you're not selling a game. right? So they don't get that bonus until they sell the game, and that game sells well. Then they get the bonus. Sorry, I had to be consistent, but if the game does really well, then the bonuses go to the team, not the CEO. Oh, you better believe, though, Sarge, that the CEO also gets a bonus for that, right? Because he was part of the team. He was in the trenches. I don't know how the company Game Pass contracts work for companies, but us paying Microsoft the billions doesn't mean they all goes to the company that made it. Where? Okay, so perfect example then. So then Game Pass is killing the industry, right? In your head, you think that the money that plays. So if and again, I don't know the contracts, but the way I think it works, because this is how the music industry works, this is how the film industry works. If I get Game Pass and I'm only playing ZeniMax Elder Scrolls Online and my $10 a month, and I'm only getting that game and I'm only playing that time, the $10 from my investment into that Game Pass is going towards that game because it's a percentage of time that I'm using that. So if I'm 100%, that $10 or $15, whatever I'm paying, is going towards ZeniMax and Elder Scrolls Online. But if I pay 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 2 hours here, 6 minutes here, that all gets broken down into pennies and fractions. Hence, something along the lines of like what we do here on YouTube, right? The longer people watch, the better my payout is per thousand. Okay? People that have premium, I get paid more. People that don't, I get paid less. People that watch the full video, I get paid more. Exactly how it works. I just like how they the COD Warzone, if 343 were puts Halo BR, it does not change Halo. What is it? Wait. Just like how they got COD Warzone, if 343 were puts Halo BR, it does not change Halo. What is it? It does not change Halo. What is it? It would fundamentally change Halo. If Halo comes out with a Warzone, that's not Halo. Just like Call of Duty is not Call of Duty anymore. Right? It's Call of Duty by name, but it's not Call of Duty anymore. The single player aspect of Call of Duty is still Call of Duty, but the Warzone is a completely different game. It's lost its identity. We've already had this conversation with other ones, right? So if Halo comes out with a DMZ or a BR or a Warzone type of stuff, that's not what Halo is. The CEO gets the bonus first, then it trickles down. Yeah, because he's part of the team. I'll tell you too. I read articles of Halo Infinite where there was never any DLC campaign story planned within the 10-year plan. Where's that at? I read 3 articles this morning. That never came up. They never had any DLC planned for the campaign. I'm thinking, how is 343 thought to keep players interested for 10 years? That's interesting. Well, then they were just trying to keep them coming back single player done, and they were just trying to make them come back for the multiplayer. Which doesn't make any sense considering they scrapped single player content and also like parts of the map, which we know is fact. Yeah, there's no DLC campaign. It's just the next game. Interesting. Pure Xbox article. It's on the site. All right. Is it the one that's labeled 343 Industry unveils official statement of future of Halo? That one? I believe Game Pass makes a little profit. Microsoft pays expense for each studio. Then if their studio has a game release for the month, the first party studio gets majority of the profits. Well, we know Phil Spencer said deals change with each one. Not one is the same. You put it in Discord? Where at? Because I know based on the articles that we've read in the past with independent developers, they don't make any money. They get bought out up front. So Tunic, there's no microtransactions or anything, right? If there's no microtransactions, the game just gets put onto Game Pass. They pay upfront money for that game. They get nothing out after that. Okay. If they sell the game, like someone has Game Pass, they happen to purchase Game Pass and then say, you know what, I like this game so much, they get a discount off of, because they're a Game Pass member, they can buy Tunic, and then Tunic makes money off of that, a percentage off of that. But other than that, Tunic's not making any money off of Game Pass because they got their money up front. Okay? So if the game comes out and sold 5 million copies, fantastic. It's great on them. But if they only sold 1 million copies and everyone else played it on Game Pass, they made their money off of Game Pass. And that hopefully that money covers the product cost of what it was. You would hope. We can't say yes or no. But they said, as of right now, it's pretty scary as an independent developer because you can either only get bought out or put in some sort of microtransactions in it. DLC, right? So I'm assuming it's the exact same way. So if you're a third-party game being paid to put your game onto Game Pass, Outriders, People Can Fly, okay? You're making no money off of that. They made money up front off of that deal, right? Which is through their publisher, which was Crystal Dynamics, right? No, Square Enix, right? Was Square Enix. And then we were told that they didn't make their money back. Hence why they had to come up with DLC to sell on Game Pass. So the people that were playing Outriders then bought the DLC and they made money back that direction. So if you're a single player game, third party, then you're hopefully getting money paid up front to cover your costs for your stuff. And if you're not, then you're looking to make monetization in some other way in DLC or microtransactions. First-party studios, they bought out. They're making their salaries. So if the game costs $100 million to make, and then it's coming onto Game Pass, they've made their $100 million. They're bought out. They're not making any money after that. Microsoft is funding the bill. Microsoft is taking that money and putting it right back into other companies, other divisions, or whatever. They're a $3 trillion company. Microsoft. Hence why the other article that we read about the independent developers saying that they're worried because once the first party titles have enough, like if 38 studios first party titles come to Game Pass, that's going to saturate the market for the rest of them. Because now Microsoft has all these companies under one umbrella and they're all making first party titles. How do you compete? 343 plans has to make microtransactions for Halo Infinite. Hard to do when you play PC. Population is barely reaching 4K. Yeah, we just looked that up. The reach for the Steam charts right now, it was like 6,000 for peak and like 2,400 right now. 1,900, I think it was. But you have to understand, Halo Infinite is just one game on Game Pass, right? So they don't care. Microsoft doesn't care that if there's only 4,000 people playing, sure, it's a dead game, but it's still there. They're not going to pull it. They're not going to do anything. It's just there. It's there to sell Game Pass. Right? You play multiplayer. Multiplayer is free. Microtransactions are there. It's not even part of Game Pass, but Halo Infinite's there just to be on Game Pass. It's the brand that's driving people to come to the platform. 343 takes off half of the map because of 343 actually thinking about the BR mode in Halo Infinite. And I'm right or wrong about this. I don't know the correlation. I mean, if they removed half the map to put it into a BR, I mean, they could use the whole entire map as BR. Right? I don't know. Like I said, I've never played it. After hearing other articles about 343 layoffs, I'm not surprised Microsoft cut several devs and artist jobs, since most of them work on Halo was outsourced since 2020. You mean you need to make a game before the game's DLC? Shocking, right? Let's see here. Let's see. It's been a rough week for Halo developers. It's also going to be happening today at 343 Industries. Studio head Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. Although we don't know the full extent of layoffs, it also sounds like it's been quite sizable restructure since 343 Industries and various ex-employees taking social media to reveal. Halo Infinite head of creation Joseph Staten. Yeah, okay. Well, that didn't say much. That didn't say much. Is that even an article? Is there a different article? Ah, here it is. Halo Infinite campaign DLC reportedly never existed. Multiplayer live service the focus. Prior to 343 Industries' recent statement regarding the future of Halo series, rumors were swirling that the team scaled back the Halo Infinite post-launch plans following the series of layoffs over at Microsoft. However, new reports are suggesting that rumors were false and that 343's DLC plans were being misreported in the first place. Over on Twitter, Windows Central's Jez Corden wrote regarding Halo Infinite campaign DLC, from what I've heard via multiple sources, Halo Infinite's campaign DLC never existed beyond conversation. Focus has been entirely on live service. In short, Corden believes that they never really had any real single-player add-on plans over at 343 Industries, and the multiplayer live service was also always the focus. For now, the focus is indeed to all we've seen from the team, as no campaign content has been added since launch. Bloomberg reported Jason Schreier has posted similar reports over at Reset Era. Schreier says that 343 is focused on multiplayer, and he doesn't think much extra campaign content-wise was ever planned in the first place. He says, I ran these bullet points by a few people. While it's true that 343 is focused on multiplayer, the stuff about campaign DLC being scrapped is false. I don't think there was much of a plan in the first place, and a lot of it is either wrong or just speculation. Now, we've also enjoyed more single-player content in Halo Infinite, to be honest, but if the reports are true, then it's not all that surprising. Halo doesn't have a huge history of single-player DLC outside of Halo 3, spin-off, or Halo ODST. Well, water. Give it 4 years, Halo will go a way of a dinosaur. So I'm just trying to get my thoughts here, because if there was no plans to do any kind of DLC, then the plan from the very start was just to do multiplayer. And that is the reason they say Halo is not going to make or break the franchise, right? Because they're just going to take it. They're just going to take the single player story. They're just going to release it, and then they're just going to bank on the multiplayer type of stuff, right? So it doesn't really matter because it's just a one and done. Put it on there, and it's on Game Pass as is, and the multiplayer is free, and anyone can play it. But they're not bringing in too many people. I don't know what the player base is on Game Pass, and that's the thing they don't ever share. They don't share it on Steam either. Steam does it because people can figure it out, right? But Game Pass, we have no idea, right? 25 million people have Game Pass. 20 million downloaded it and played it, but we don't know actually how many people consistently are playing it day to day. There are games that are doing what Halo is trying to do much better now. The real Halo lost its identity. Now the mix-up of games, and it doesn't do anything well. Right. So we have to wait 16 years after Halo Infinite for another Halo game. Isn't that sad, though? Like, think about that, Tiny, right? From where it's come to where it is, it's sad. It's sad that it was like a fly-by-night. They're like, hey, by the way, Halo Infinite's here. It's on Game Pass. And that's it. Like, marketing is completely different nowadays than it was when Halo came out. Like, in movie theaters, for God's sakes. Commercials, Super Bowl, all of this stuff. Sad, man. What IPs does Xbox have? And Forza's not a brand, right? When I'm saying like an idle character, right? You have Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War, or the Gears guys. You have Master Chief. I can't think of another one. What's another game that when you think Xbox, you're like, oh, was it Crackdown? That's a brand, not a person, though, right? They don't have that. They don't have that. PlayStation's got God of War, right? They have Kratos. They have Eos. They have Spider-Man. They have Ghost of Tsushima. They have, I don't know the character's name from Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean? There's tons and tons of people. Hellblade chick. But do you really think that, Krebsy? Like, when you think Xbox, you're like, they got that Hellblade chick. Is she marketable? Like, Nintendo's got Mario, Metroid, Star Fox, Sonic, Yoshi. They have these characters. Thank you, Dave. Oh, Ratchet, right? They have Ratchet and Clank. I know Microsoft really doesn't care about the system sells as much as they get the games on everywhere platform, but Halo was supposed to be the system seller, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know? George says Gears chainsaw gun was Xbox to me. Yeah, no, I got you, Dave. I got you. Jinsaki. The Jin or Yin? No, Hellblade chick isn't the face of Xbox. I thought it was just mentioning the main characters for franchises. Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking about, like, when you say Xbox, right? Like, you think certain character. When you say Nintendo, boom, Mario pops in your head. When you say PlayStation, God of War pops in your head, right? Like, Spider-Man now also pops in your head because it's exclusive, right? But when you say Xbox, what pops in your head? Master Chief, Halo. But yet, it's just a whatever franchise now. Like what's another main thing? Right now, when you think Xbox, come on, we're all thinking Game Pass, right? That's my point. Right? For the last couple years, right? From the last couple of years, when you say Xbox, all you think is Game Pass. I fooled myself into thinking Halo would be an ongoing live service with new story content and events in the open world. It was way wrong in thinking of the game. Tiny, I was the same way. When they first announced it, they showed like 4 players, like in the cutscene type of thing, not actually playing the game. And I was like, oh, they're gonna make it a looter. They're gonna make it a Call of Duty, like not a Call of Duty, a Destiny competitor, right? Is what I thought they were going to do. I thought it was going to be a live service. You're going to have your Spartan. You would play the single-player campaign. right? And then you would have your open world, sort of like what Marvel's Avengers did, where you could play the campaign and then you could go into the play Avengers thing and then play with other people. And I thought that's what you were going to do. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. Which because and my theory behind it was because of Game Pass, right? Game Pass is that monthly subscription, and if I'm playing like a Destiny type of game, but I have my Spartan and I'm leveling him up, and I'm constantly going through story missions and fighting guys in the open world, finding loot, like that's what I thought we were going to be doing. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if the story content, like you would be Master Chief in the main campaign, right? And then you would just make a Spartan as a separate character, and Master Chief would be in that realm. If you wanted to play Master Chief, you could go back and play Master Chief. But if you played in just the open world with your buds and as a looter type of thing, you are one of the Spartans in that universe. Apparently, Joseph Staten wanted Destiny like Halo, and that's what we had planned until higher ups nixed it and the game got cut up. Well, there you go, man. If that's true, then I was correct. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense based on the. Now it's just multiplayer, right? Now it's just season pass. You're just doing the multiplayer type stuff, but that's not on Game Pass. That's just free for everybody. Not as big as the original, of course, with the how many? Oh, you're talking about the chainsaw gun, yeah. Chief being a mentor of the NPC character hands out missions and bounties for the open world. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you would fight alongside. He would tell you like a mission to go on, and then you would go, and then you come back, and he would go on a different mission. You know what I mean? Like it would take the events of after the main campaign. That's why you're on the ground. You see what I'm saying? Like the campaign happens. After the campaign, boom, it opens up into this co-op world where your Spartan's now on the ground and you're trying to clear out this area. That's the story, basically. You know what I mean? How important is Phil to the overall Microsoft structure? Does he have enough pull to fix things, or is he a suit just controls him? I'm not sure, George. I would think he has pretty good power. I can see the Halo multiplayer keeping the player base interested for 10 years. Yikes. Yeah, no. No one's playing the this PvP for 10 years. All the companies make it live service. Same companies cut that out and keep most of the things. We all have Steve from Minecraft, Doom Guy, Pip Boy, Fallout, Brotherhood, Power Armor Dude. Yeah, but here's the thing. Because Minecraft, I'll give you Steve from Minecraft because it's been with Microsoft for a decade now. So I'll give you Steve. Doom Guy, Pit Boy, Fallout. No, they haven't been here long enough. Now, whatever your character is, Starfield is a brand that'll be known for Xbox. But those characters, I don't think are associated. I don't think you associate Doom Guy with Microsoft. You know? In a couple years, I think maybe that'll change. All depending if it keeps coming out and people starting to associating with it like that. I feel like the broad board will also always have a full control. It's just fighting them the whole time. Yeah, perhaps. All right, let me bring up my other video. Oh, man. Time for lunch. Once we forget the Bethesda was separate entity at some point, we have those or Microsoft brands. Absolutely, I agree with you there. But you have it's too new. It's too it's too new for that. All right, they're just all just Game Pass selling points, right? Like if like Fable when it comes out, you'll have the brand of Fable, but not the hero of Fable, right? Are we forgetting the myth, the legend, Clippy? Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make a game of him. I don't know why we didn't have a game, sort of like the Noid, right? I don't know why we don't have a game like Clippy running across a side scroller game. That's a missed opportunity right there. The myth, the legend, Clippy. That's crazy. Fable Hero always changed, kind of like Dragon Age anyway. Right, that's what I'm saying. There's not these brands. I guess my point is Xbox doesn't have a brand of people that you look at and go, oh man. I talked about it last week, right? They changed the box with Master Chief on it, and now it's Starfield over in China. Right? They've changed the fundamental of what the franchise is. I don't know. It's sad. It's the way they're going. It's all about the Game Pass. All right. We're going to end it here. I do appreciate you guys coming out this morning and hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm going to push you guys over to a premiere that I have. Okay. It's a dead game, Marvel's Avengers. I'm giving you my thoughts of what happened. I show you some things that happened along the way. I absolutely loved Marvel's Avengers. I did. Right? I loved having conversations about it. I wish that game was more than what it became. There was love-hate relationship. I love the game, and then I would hate that game so much because I would complain about it. So it's dead now. It's officially dead. And yes, sure, you can still buy it or whatnot, but I have a premiere. I want to send you that over there. Let me make sure I can end this one and go over. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Okay, I'm going to put the link in the chat so you guys, yeah, it's been Vagoted. It's definitely been Vagoted. I'm going to put this link in the chat. Yeah, rip the health glitch. So this is the link to go over there. You should get redirected, but I'm still learning about this redirect stuff. It's supposed to start at 12:15. Don't worry what that says. I'm going to put it right away as soon as we move over. So I do appreciate you very much. It's going to be like a 1-minute countdown. Guys, have a great morning. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can do super thanks. You could become a member. We'll be back tonight for the last part of the Star Wars, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga to finish out episodes, 8 and 9 tonight. So other than that, I do appreciate you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.